Today, we're going to be looking at how to understand copyright laws. It's really important as you guys are getting started on your research projects that you understand very well what you can and cannot use regarding other people's works. So, let's talk for a second. How would you feel if you had worked really hard to create some beautiful artwork and then someone came along, took your amazing cat picture, made copies of it, and then sold those copies? They made all the money. You'd be pretty upset, wouldn't you? Well, that's why we have things like copyright protection. So let's take a look at what we're going to learn today. Okay, so today the first thing we're really going to talk about is what is copyright? How do the laws work? We're going to find out what's protected and not protected. There are some things that are not protected under the copyright law. We're going to discuss something called fair use. We're also going to be able to find out how you can learn today and be responsible and respect copyright laws as you go forward in your projects. And then last but not least, we're going to have a great lesson and find out exactly how much you've learned by using our Goose Chase app on our iPads and doing a copyright scavenger hunt. So, what is copyright? That's a fantastic question. Copyright is literally that it's the rights that you have when you create something. Now, copyright laws are federal laws, not state laws. So it doesn't matter what state you live in, all the copyright laws are the same for everybody in the United States. These laws protect any person who creates an original work. Basically, it's protection against somebody taking or using creative material that doesn't belong to them. It means that they can't make copies of something that doesn't belong to them. They cannot distribute things that do not belong to them. And most of all, they cannot claim that those things belong to them. So let's take a look at what types of things are protected. The one that is going to impact you guys often is images. For a lot of school projects, you have to find images for your the things that you're going to produce. Photos, drawings, paintings, and any original artwork. Those types of things are protected. Yeah, even the ones that you create. If you were to draw something right now, boom, it's protected by copyright, and nobody can take that from you. Even things on social media, when you're posting pictures to an Instagram account or uploading things on social media, if you create it, it belongs to you. Music's created. Any original songs that are not on the public domain, we're going to talk about that in just a minute, those things are protected as created items. Written works, any sort of text you could find, like books, articles, poems, graphic novels, comics, recipes, and the list goes on and on. And yes, even things that are on the internet. Videos are protected. Anything that's filmed is protected. Yes, even your YouTube videos that you create, those are protected under copyright laws. Some other things that are protected include choreography, dances that are invented, like the floss, software, architecture, and any creative works. So let's take a look at a few of the things that are not protected. Well, titles, names, slogans, those are not protected. Now, names and slogans sometimes can fall under something called trademark, like the name Oreos. Nobody can use the name Oreo except, well, Oreos. But that's a different type of law that's not copyright. Government works. Anything that the government creates is for the people. So it is not protected under copyright law. And anything in the public domain. Again, that's going to come up later. Anything there is free to use. Also, ideas are not protected. Anybody can have the idea to write about a wizard, but until you actually write about Harry Potter, that's not the same thing. So let's take a look at some other interesting facts about copyright. You don't have to apply for copyright. It exists the very moment something is created. The first copyright laws took effect in 1790. That's a really long time ago. But since then, it's been changed and updated. And the current law that we have now, That one was written in 1976. So you can see it's still been a long time since it's been changed. It will probably have to be changed more as technology advances. You can tell something is copyrighted sometimes because there's a symbol that has a little circle with a C inside, but that symbol doesn't have to be there. The minute it's created, it's protected under copyright law. Serious copyright infringement could be punishable by big fines or even jail time. Now, there's no copyright cops that are going to come track you down, but it really could lead to some problems. Plus, it's just not the right thing to do. So, what are your options? When you're doing a project, how can you find images, use music, videos, and create things without breaking copyright rules? Well, one way is the public domain. These items belong to everyone, everywhere, and they're free to use. They're not protected under any copyright laws for a variety of reasons. One reason might be because the copyright has expired. Copyright expires 70 years after the creator of the work dies. Now, they estimate right now that anything created between like the 1920s and the 1960s, 85% of that is in the public domain. So the older things get, they drop into public domain. But sometimes creators can give up their copyright. We're going to talk about that briefly when we talk about Creative Commons. So one reason also that it's in the public domain is it's super old. Maybe it existed before copyright laws. Things like the Happy Birthday song that no one knows really where it came about, but they're super old. Shakespeare, that was super old. Things like that. If it was government created, again, when the things that the government creates, those are not protected. And then you have non-creative items, things like math formulas or scientific facts. Those things are meant for everybody and they're not protected under copyright law. But hey, one interesting fact, things created by animals, not protected. So the elephant that paints pictures, that guy's not protected. So that brings us to Creative Commons. Creative Commons, you see the symbol with the two C's inside? That means Creative Commons. And you can't search for images and items that are free to use. Creators have chosen to put their works here for people to use under lots of different circumstances. It's a good way to make sure that you're not breaking copyright rules when you're using images for your projects. So let's take a look on how to search using Creative Commons and an advanced search.
When you're searching for images, it's really important that you find something that is not protected under copyright, something that's free to use or in the public domain. One way that you can do that is with an advanced search in Google. So let's say that you are doing a report on cute puppies and you need to find some images. Obviously, a lot of things are going to come up. Once you click on images, then you're going to go to settings, because what you see here, you don't know what you can and can't use. These are for everybody. Look here, there's today.com. That's definitely a news show. It's probably copyrighted. So you're going to go to settings and choose advanced search. Once this brings up a menu, you're going to see usage rights. In this drop-down menu, you want to select Creative Commons licenses. This is going to filter out with things that are tagged that are for Creative Commons use, which anybody could use. So here you see a whole bunch more. Now, what you do want to do is look for things that you think actually can be used. So once you find the one that you want to use, let's click on that guy. If you want to just double check and make sure, it says to get this image on Flickr, let's see are the license details. Sure enough, it is Creative Commons under the public domain. That means that you could use that with a limited use for and not have to worry about breaking copyright laws.
So let's take a look at fair use. Fair use, well, it really means just that you can use it fairly. It means that a person can reasonably use some copyrighted material in special circumstances without the owner's permission, but certain rules do apply. And there's some very important things you need to remember when you're talking about what constitutes fair use when you're using copyrighted material. The first thing you want to think about is how much, the amount that you're using. If you're only going to be using a very small part of the work, it might be okay. Let's say that you only wanted to use a few seconds of a song or a video, or you wanted to use just part of a work of photography, um, maybe just one tiny picture out of an entire book. So you really do have to think about how much are you going to use. It could fall under fair use. The other is the purpose. Why is the work being used? If it's a reasonable usage, you're not using it to make money, but maybe you are using it for educational purposes like a school project, it might be okay to use it. But the main thing is when you're in doubt, just either try to get permission from the creator or just use another item. That's the easiest thing. And always give credit where credit is due. So now it's going to be time for you to try. So today you guys are going to break into teams. I've written them on the whiteboard, and you are going to do a goose chase. You guys have used the Goose Chase scavenger hunt app on your iPads before. So once you get your iPad and you open up the Goose Chase app, I have written the code on the whiteboard for you. It's VJVRJG. Now, as you guys are completing these with your iPad and around the library, I'm going to review each of the entries for your missions and assign points. So some of the things, just as an example of some of the things that you guys are going to have to do, you're going to have a Creative Commons image search. You're going to have to screen record a video of you searching for images of a jackalope using advanced search techniques that I just taught you in that video for Creative Commons licensed images. Make sure you describe each step that you're taking out loud. You're going to have to go to a website on the following link and answer some questions about fair use and take a screenshot of your answer and then upload it as proof. The next thing is to try to locate a song that exists in the public domain. You need to search and figure out, copy and paste at least one verse from the chorus and on the URL where you found the song. So you're going to want to look at a bunch of different things. And these are just a few examples. I hope you guys have a great time and good luck.